Good evening and welcome. Tonight on the show we're discussing soccer in Fiji, and joining us for this show are the Fiji FA CEO, Mr. Mohammed Yusuf. Thank you for joining us, sir. And Fiji Football President and Council Member, Mr. Rajesh Patel. Thank you for joining us. So it's been a challenging past few months for the Fiji Football Association, what with the coronavirus pandemic and the restrictions that we had locally. Of course, in the last few months, we've seen a return of soccer in Fiji with the new COVID-19 restrictions in place, starting off with the Vodafone Premier League. And in the coming week, we're expecting a good start to the Punjab's Battle of the Giants tournament. So the first question to you, Mr. Yusuf, what were the main priorities for the Fiji Football Association to bring back soccer in Fiji?
Of course, as you know, all the sports, the players and officials, coaches were doing nothing for the last 3.5 months when the pandemic hit. And as a result, they were very much inactive. And as soon as the restrictions were lifted, then before that, Fiji FA board had met, and of course, we had planned what to do, targeting 1st of July, but because of the announcements came bit late, we started off on the 11th.
Yeah, because what had happened is once the players are on layoff and everything, you have to look at their health capabilities and everything, making sure they get their match fitness and everything. You can't just start within 1 week if the government had decided to lift the restrictions and everything, and we had to make sure that we gave enough time to the players to rebuild their exercise capabilities and everything, and how they'll play the 90 minutes football. And taking that into account, we had to give 3 weeks for the districts to prepare the teams and everything so they can get match fitness. And that way they don't have any injuries of hamstrings and everything. If you've seen the English Premier League too, when it started, a lot of the players had their pulled hamstrings and everything. So this is something that we had to decide and give enough time to the districts for them to get their warm-up and the players into fitness, match fitness. We are thankful to the government that they finally lifted the restrictions and everything. Sports is an essential part for any athlete or any human being, and it gives the the health and wellness of the person and the player and athlete two together. So this way, we are thankful that sports was allowed with 50% capacity. In recent weeks or coming weeks or something, we hope that the full restrictions are lifted and everything, so that people can enjoy the sports they love. With 50% capacity in sports right now and everything, there are fans who will miss out, but we have got other avenues that we are trying to make sure the fans get all what they love, the game of football.
Speaking of other avenues, this year something historic has also happened. Fiji FA signed a deal with the Fijian Broadcasting Corporation, and for the first time we've seen in Fiji, local soccer has been shown live on TV. There were selected matches, but so far, especially from the general public, there's been a really good reaction, hasn't there?
Yeah, it has been, yes, and I think so that is the whole reason we wanted to do this 3-month trial, to see how the fans react. At the same time, we wanted to see the revenue that we totally rely on as a football association, as a sporting organization. Fiji Football's financial, we totally rely on ours and FIFA's funding and Oceania Football Confederation funding. And that is the reason we have to make sure that whatever we do, we balance it in a way that our self-reliability on finances and everything doesn't be taken away. And on that basis, we are thankful that FBC came on board. After that, we have got plans how we're going to bring more live matches. But this is the first time also we'll be bringing a live Punjab's Battle of Giant matches. There'll be 1 match per day that will be live, and then another match that will be shown on delayed coverage. So that way Fiji and the fans all over Fiji can watch it, and those who might be streaming it overseas, they can watch the games too. And we are thankful to FBC that has partnered with us, and this is just a start. And I think so the fans will love it, and they've already, like you said, you have got your reviews back and everything. We have got our reviews too, and people are really thankful that we have done it. And we will move forward from here. It's not something that we feel that over the years that if you do the live matches, the fans won't come and watch it. They are diehard fans of districts that love to see their players, in live themselves in the stadiums and everything, and that will happen. And those who are busy maybe, and so that way the coverage is to all of them, and we help grow the game of football, and that's our main aim.
I'd like to get into some of the discussions that were had before you made the decision to show the game live on TV, because you also have to think about your income that you get from ticket sales, and a lot of considerations had to be made. So talk to us about that. What happened behind the scenes?
Well, with the 50% capacity, we knew that fans would be missing out. So there's one way of reaching these football matches to the fans was through live coverage, and that's where it all started.
And the radio is there. That's people do enjoy the commentaries and everything. But if you really, those who have now watched means English Premier League, La Liga, and Bundesliga and everything, so they like to see how the players are playing and everything and all those things. So this is something that we thought, okay, if we can't reach them, they can't bring them to the stadiums, which they love, let's think of how we can give them the live matches. And like I said, it's not going to be a trial basis that we do it and stop it. After the 3 months, we have discussed how we'll bundle a package for people to, whoever wins the tender, to show the live matches of Fiji FA. And this also will go, like we have already got the live streaming that is happening with the Worldmax TV. That's for overseas viewers. And we are bundling a package for them too, where they can get the whole 3 tournaments and National League, Vodafone Premier League live matches to them. So this is something all over the world, the Fiji football fans, it's good news coming to them, and it's something that...
You see some overseas, like you mentioned, some overseas soccer matches where the stadiums are empty, and it's quite eerie and it's quite strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
So with football returning in Fiji, we of course have a 50% capacity. But I'm interested in are you concerned about the ticket sales, the income from ticket sales?
We are concerned, but knowing the fans' interest and everything, and the pre-sales that will start happening from Monday in Lautoka City Council, and a lot of corporate people have already asked us for tickets and everything, so we feel that the enthusiasm that's there and the demand that it's created with the limited capacity, people will go out and buy it first, but yes, it's 50% revenue at the end of the day. So there are other avenues we have to look at financially, how we can bolster up for the rest, because you got to understand, and the fans have to understand, Fiji FA, we haven't taken any competitions or programs that we have on our calendar down. The Under-16 Boys League, the Girls League, the Under-19 Boys and Girls, the National Women's Team and the Men's Team, they're all happening. After the Punjab's Battle of Giants, the national coach Fleming Serislev has called a camp to get the players' fitness for the match we might have. We are planning, if the whole restrictions lifted and the travel bubble within the Pacific happens, Tahiti has shown the interest to come and play the first international match. With another, our Pacific Island neighbors have shown also that if Tahiti is coming, please include us, so we want to come and play in Fiji too. That's
interesting. We'll carry on the discussion when we come back from our break. Stay with us. Welcome back. In the following week, we're going to see from Friday the beginning of the Punjab's Battle of the Giants football tournament that's going to be played in Churchill Park in Lautoka. Talk to us about the preparation for the BOG tournament. There were some things that, of course, Fiji FA learned from the Vodafone Premier League matches. And what are you bringing into the BOG tournament?
Of course, we will fully comply with the COVID-19 precautionary measures as per our accreditation with the Safe Sports Fiji. 100% compliance, our target, and we expect fans to respect that. As we know that Care Fiji app is a compulsory tool for anybody to enter the grounds and watch football in a bubble or together. We'll be checking that strictly, and anybody that has a smartphone will have Wi-Fi available at the gate. They have not downloaded, we'll ask them to download and then come in. So these are some of the things. We have got our social responsibility team. They will be there out in full force, ensuring that everybody complies.
Yeah, just to add to it, and I think so to the fans who doesn't want to wait in line for longer, they need to download their Care Fiji app. They show it to us, they just enter the ground. There'll be an express lane that we'll create at the gate, at the entrance. Those with Care Fiji app, show it and you come in through. If those, they don't have it, they'll have to go into another line, then register it or download it, and then the temperature is checked and everything. Yeah. And we're hopeful. We have requested the RFMF personnel to be there to help us out. And we hope the commander and his officers do allow the officers to come in. And that way, it helps us in the security and making sure that we comply with the government regulations and COVID-19 restrictions and all those things. And it's good for the country. It's good for all of the fans. As you all know that we had one border quarantine death, and that's controlled. It's not a community spread. And we don't want to be a sport that's part of the community spread that happens. So in Fiji, we are very lucky with that.
I've been to one of the Vodafone Premier League matches right here in Suva, and it's a relatively simple procedure. So you walk in, you get your ticket. I think they check your temperature, they'll check your phone for the app, they'll give you some hand sanitizer, and then you're on your way. It's really simple, isn't it?
That's right.
So for the fans that are coming to watch the BOG tournament, they can expect something similar?
It will be similar. It will be based on it. And then the stadiums are marked too, where the social distancing and everything. Those who are not in a family bubble, they will be asked to sit on the social distancing. As we have got half the capacity of this total stadium that we had ticket selling. It is controlled ticket selling. That is the number of tickets we have printed. It's no extra tickets that's printed, and that's how it will be. So, but with the 50% capacity, with the 650 in the main cement stadium, and the 1,200 in the wooden stadium and 4,000 in the embankment, so that is something. We'll still have a crowd of almost close to 6,000 people.
Right. So we have in Fiji, soccer fans that are really passionate, and they can get a bit too passionate sometimes. Have you perhaps received reports from your officers on the ground about non-compliance, people not wanting to listen to the instructions, or has it generally been an easy sailing?
Up till now, we didn't have any. I think so. People are just concerned that the Balotoka match that happened, it was some of their own logistical operations within the Fiji Police Force. I think so. They have now officers that have understood it was the first match of any sports that started. So that excitement happened, and people not understanding what the regulations were and everything. And I think it has been clarified now. And all of them, like with the Fiji police personnel and everyone, us as officials, we all know now, and they understand what it is required to. So it is something the fans have to make sure they comply, and they don't get disappointed. We don't want to take any fan out of that tournament or the venue. So they have to make sure, they have to be a proud Fijian, help the country, making sure that we all stay safe and we enjoy the game that we love.
So the upcoming Battle of the Giants football tournament, how's the enthusiasm been from the people that you've spoken to, from your fans? You're obviously communicating with the coaches and managers of individual teams. Talk to us about that.
Yes, I think so. All the districts are preparing well. And just to help the district and the fans to get the best of the football game they love, our national coach, Fleming Serislev, has visited all the teams in Fiji. Right now, he's in Lambasa. He went last night to Lambasa, helping Lambasa team to making sure that they get all the expert technical advice from the national coach and everything. And this is something that we have done to the western teams. The southern teams, Suva, he helped on the past 2 days, Nasinu, Reva, Navua, and so all the teams are getting the technical advice from our national coach, where their weaknesses are and everything, and he's talking to the district coaches, telling them where they have to concentrate and how to improve the team and everything. So once that happens, we can see that brings up to the national team the players that we expect, and that's how the coach is trying to do it. And he's also held a seminar and everything with them, and this will help the consistency of the players that we cup in national teams, and all the coaches have the same philosophy of the game that the national coach wants them to play. And there's also very good, just to the fans, there's Instat statistics that this national coach has given us on the game that was analyzed. I think so. Raymond Stoddard, the football commentator himself, has seen that. It gives each individual players how many times he has done the right passing, how many times and how many minutes he was running, how many minutes he stood, and which area he played, whether he moved this way, moved forward and back and diagonally and everything. So that stats has been now given to Suva and Reva coaches and everything. It's been shown to them. And the next game that analysis will be happening is for the Bar Lambasa and Bar Nava game. And that will be given to the coaches with the national coach explaining to them how this works and where the players are. Each and every player too, he goes to them and says, this is a mistake, this is something. So it is getting professional, the players with the coach we have got, and that's what we're investing in. We know people have been complaining, oh, we haven't been stagnant, we have not gone to the World Cup. Yes, we have tried, we have gone to the Under-20 World Cup, we have gone to the Olympics, Fiji has done it, but it is not to the main men's World Cup. Yes, our aim is 2026, and this is what we're starting to do right now to get to that stage. And at the same time, is the Women's World Cup in 2023 in New Zealand. And we don't want to see that women are left out, and we are equally getting all the funding and everything and all the technical know-how for the women's football too to have it.
We'll talk more about that when we come back from our break. Stay with us. Mr. Yusuf, carrying on the discussion on the BOG tournament, I've noted that there's a change in sponsorship for this year's tournament. Talk to us about how enthused your sponsors have been and the major stakeholders. Was it difficult to get sponsors on board for the tournaments?
It is difficult times. Every business houses are facing difficulty and everything. COVID-19 is not only affected Fiji, it's all over the world. But it's at the same time, it's a corporate responsibility of the firms and the business houses that they look at it, because we all know that the staff has been on reduced hours and everything. But at the same time, it becomes a corporate responsibility for the business houses to do it for the public and for the consumers who are also buying their products. And Punj is looking into it, and they thought they need to get on board now. And if they do it, it's a heavy spend, whether it's marketing and everything, and not for 1 year. Even though we are thankful Vodafone has been a sponsor for us, it's still a sponsors, but they relaxed on their contractual obligations we have. And we had talked with Rajesh Punja and everything, and the reason we went to see him is because of the COVID-19 relief package that we're giving to the 400 football families, the players and their family. Is almost a month and a half ration. It's a big ration for almost $66,000 Fijian that we are spending. And we thrown an idea to Rajesh Punja, and then he said, it's difficult time, but let me put it to my board and to my staff and everyone. And they came with a very positive answer to us and everything. And they said they'd like to do it for 3 years if they market it, because then the name carries on for 3 years instead of 1 year, and then goes back to the original. So Punjas came on board with that, and we are thankful to the directors of Punjas Group and to the staff for really understanding why the Punjas Group have done it and how it's going to help all of them all around Fiji and everything. And this is what has happened.
So you mentioned something interesting, the player ration packs that you've given. You've obviously spoken to the team managers and players all around Fiji. They've been especially affected by this pandemic because sporting events were completely stopped for the past few months. What are the challenges that the players faced, and what efforts did Fiji FA make to?
With the effort of the CEO and our head of corporate responsibility in Fiji FA, the Just Play program manager, Lavinia Evolia, and her team, they went and surveyed all over Fiji. to all the districts, to the players, so they applied, and we had done the distribution in 3 categories. The total high, risk ones that don't have, they're totally reliant on football as an income, and they don't have any job and everything. So there was a different package for them. There was a moderate that had a job and lost a lot of hours and everything and all those things. And those who were completely working but had very reduced, hours were taken off from them. So those are the 3 packages that they did the survey and everything, and then that's how we prepared the packages for them. And most of the football families that didn't have any job got close to $200 worth of food packages with them.
So is the BOG tournament going to be a scouting mission for the national coach as well? Are you looking at the way players are playing, and what preparations are you making from now for major international soccer?
Well, that is our whole aim when we hold tournaments like this, and that's why we have gone to the tournaments for 90 minutes too. It gives a good idea to the coaches, the national coach, that the durability, the fitness of the player and everything, the skills, whether they can cope up to an international standard or not. And the door is open to all the players to come to the national teams. And this coach, this national coach we have got, he has went around the district scouting the players first and everything, and then now he'll have more fair idea watching every game and which players are totally that fits in his combination and his ideas and everything.
What are the major challenges that have existed so far, to bring local soccer to that international standard?
Of course, we need to be on par with the football growth around the world internationally, and we need to be innovative. We need to invest in our technical people, and that's what we have been doing in the past couple of years. And now we have got a set of very experienced and B licensed coaches that are coming our way, and they will continue to achieve those certificates. The board has made a ruling that only qualified people will handle all our teams. No coach who is not an accredited coach can coach a district team. That has shown a lot of improvement in results.
And to add to that, I think so the coaches, the consistency of the pattern of play the national coach wants, his philosophy has to go down to every coach. And those who are not qualified can't take that, and that's where Fiji football is what we said, the players, the professional players we need, like Roy Krishna is the only one. And we'd like to see more players getting chances up there in the international arena. We had offers for players, and I think so. It's the mindset has to change for the players, the discipline. They have to, have that family support them. Roy had a good support and everything, and that's why he became the best professional football player for Fiji. There are others that were selected in Singapore, 4 of them. They were supposed to go this year, but due to COVID-19, it didn't happen. And at the same time, their family didn't support them to go. These are the young players. In Indonesia, we had 5 players they wanted to sign. Same thing happened. So these opportunities, when we give it to them, if they don't take it, they can't blame Fiji FA, but it has to come from within their family to support them to know, hey, this is a great chance, you can take it, and that's what you need to do.
We'll be back after a short break. Stay with us. So with soccer now being shown on TV, there's additional growth that's possible in soccer, right? Especially for local soccer. You have international games where video-assisted refereeing is used, and there's a lot of technical stuff happening even off the field. So maybe not immediately, but perhaps in the future, does Fiji FA see something like that happening?
Oh, definitely. It's not that we will be lagging behind in technology and how the VAR system works. VAR system is very expensive, and for that we need to have professional leagues started first and everything, so that the demand that is created and the investment that we do, the fans and the clubs that have invested professionally as a consortium or whatever, they are paying much more and they're getting much more revenue from the TV and everything, so it comes back, trickles down to the association. where we can invest in it. VAR system, there are a lot of technical issues with it because they need to have 4 referees in a VAR booth analyzing every different thing before they can give a decision, and it has to be within so many seconds they have to make a decision and give it. The ball itself, has got that technology in it that you have to get it. The goalpost, you have to have a technology of the goalpost and everything. So this is something that we have to look at in future. But we are having 5 referees per match in the current one, where they are, in the lights are not good or whatnot, and they have to see if it's a very crucial match, the goal has crossed the line, and the ball has crossed the line or not. So that referees we do put in and everything. So this is something that already we're improving in before we get to total VAR system. But it's not that we'll not invest in it. I know as FIFA, sitting on FIFA Council, we are helping all member associations to finally come up with level par with every countries and everything.
So for the past few years, I note that the Fiji FA, as you mentioned earlier as well, you've invested a lot into your referees and into providing professional training for your coaches. Do you see that making a difference in the standard of soccer that we have in Fiji?
Oh yes, it does. I think so. We just now today there is instructors course going on with the referees department and everything, and there is something that keeps on continuing there. We have got a dedicated education officer for us, that's Yogen Dutt, and he's got a calendar for the coaching side, the refereeing side, the technical department side. So all those calendars, we in-house, the training and everything is going on and everything. Like Yusuf had said, with the coaches, that accredited coaches can see it. We start from D license, then they move to the C license, and C license to B license. Currently we have got close to almost 20 B license coaches, and there are 8 B license coach that is going to A license, and this year we will be having an A license coaching course. Fleming Serislav is a FIFA qualified pro license instructor, and so that also helps us because due to COVID-19 he couldn't travel to India and Malaysia to give their professional license coaches their instructions and giving them the certification. But he is in Fiji, so we are working with Oceania, so he can take, instead of 20 participants, he can do the 8 in Fiji that needs to qualify as an A license coach.
In fact, I've now realized that we didn't take time out to discuss our national coach as well. So when you got Fleming Serislav on board, what do you think he brings to the game of soccer, especially to our national side?
I think so. It's a depth of knowledge in the professional. He has been a former Denmark professional himself. He's been a head coach in a lot of countries and everything. And he has got an experience in the Pacific where he coached PNG before. So he knows the mentality of the Pacific players and everything and all those things. So that with his vast knowledge, years of experience and everything, and his soft-spokenness with the players and mingle around with the players, that gave us a difference because, we island nation and everything, we have got a different set of mentality. And you need to have a coach who if it's too harsh and everything, they revolt and everything. So that's the reason we have. And the technical expertise he has got with him, we can already see the changes he has made to a lot of districts with the games and everything. He picked up immediately that we are not playing fast football, and also the passing. We are putting the ball on the player's feet. It can't be there. If a player is running, the ball has to be put in front of him, so his run cannot be disrupted and the fast play can continue and everything. These are all the small technical issues. He's picked it up and everything, and it's helping grow the game, and it's getting us better technically.
Stay with us. We'll be back in our final segment after a short break. So recently, there's been a few issues of players that have been, caught smoking marijuana. I want to talk to you about this issue. We've had this issue for a long time, especially in local sports. Does the Fiji Football Association have, the resources to prevent drug abuse? And what sort of conversations are you having with coaches and team managers as well as players?
We started this almost 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and what has happened from there onwards, when the players has been disciplined and everything, they have felt that their first offence, we give them the chance to recover. Their second offence, they go for 3 years and a fine of $500, and the districts get fined too. So now, from Fiji FA starting, the onus has moved to the districts too. The districts, before coming to any tournament or matches too, they get their players tested. So it is happening now within the districts. So it's preventing it, and it's slowly going to trickle down to the clubs too. And that's what we're going to, the district association has to make sure during the club competition it happens. So once we get to the bottom and, you know, root cause of this, where players get intimidated and everything, they think, oh, if they smoke, they'll play better and everything. That's not the case. You know, you totally lose control of your head and everything, and you don't play better. And this, it's something the family has to, you know, help to. The government is, and the police are doing so much raids, if you see in the papers, so much. So everybody has to chip in to make sure that we stay, drug is out of sports. And we started as a sporting organization doing the testing. I'm not sure whether any other sporting organization is doing it. I hope they all call on board and you know, make sure with the world anti-doping situation too, and in all sports. All of them, if they come on board, and I think so, this will go out of sports completely, and that's what they need to do.
And I think one of the underlying reasons is issues with player discipline itself. Besides all of these claims of smoking marijuana, you always hear reports of players not turning up to training on time, or they breach camp. And all of those others, the other issues. So, have you been talking to your districts about this?
Yeah, we have also done counselling for them. Whenever we bring players in national team too, there's a professional counsellor that comes from Australia. We're happy he's done his thesis on Fiji football and everything, and he knows the situation in Fiji, and he comes in and during the camps and helps. It's all the teams, national teams. We bring him in and everything to do the counselling. It starts with the family. The family, they have to think about their family first. If they do this, this is where they take the loss to the family and everything, and their loss of income if they don't play sports anymore. So they have to think about themselves, and the discipline starts within the family and everything. And this is what happens.
Yeah. Just adding on to that, Zia, the test we have been doing from 2017 so far, we've got heaps of data available, and when you analyze the data, we can now work together with the Fiji police and NGOs and pinpoint the areas that are continually getting affected with this drug abuse, and that is really helpful. So we know which area we can target to go in on an educational drive to improve the lives of our young people.
Since you have this data, would you say that it's a widespread problem? Is it happening all over Fiji, or is it just a few players, a few districts?
It is centered around about 4 or 5 major clusters. That's what we can say. But we are sharing it with the Fiji police force.
Yeah, and this will also help the families to understand with their children, the mothers, the fathers, or their kids to understand this is not on. And once they get caught, there is no income. The families get affected, like I said, and they have to then think themselves that we shouldn't be doing this and everything.
So we're nearing the end of our show. We were talking earlier about the Battle of the Giants tournament. That's the next tournament that's coming up. Are you personally excited about this?
Yeah, we are very excited with Punjab's Battle of Giants, and we are very excited also that the Minister for Economy and Attorney General, Honorable Ayaz Sayed Qayyum, will be the chief guest on Friday at 6 p.m. And with the current budget that has passed and everything, it's a very good budget. We feel that it's for the people budget and everything. And it will be good for him to come and show to the people and the public too that the sports, they're slowly lifting it up and helping grow the economy of Fiji.
Mr. Yusuf, any final comments to soccer fans?
Yeah, of course. We are doing our part in terms of trying to recover the economical situation in Fiji by us taking the tournament to Lautoka, one of the hardest hit areas in Fiji in view of tourism effect. And it was a bold step for us to go to Lautoka, so the whole football fraternity can travel over the weekend to Lautoka, hotels will be booked, restaurants will operate, rental cars will operate. So that tournament itself is a big boost to the economy of Lautoka city.
I want to thank both of you gentlemen for taking your time out to come and join us, and wishing you all the best for the upcoming tournament.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Much
to the
appreciated.
fans, just make sure, do come out in numbers and enjoy the game. Thank you.
And that's all we have for you on the show tonight. Thank you for joining us. Good evening.